and Mama went and said, der Reichstag brennt. And he said, okay, let's leave. The thing is, it took me, and I am now 76. I think I realized it about 8 years back, not before then, how ridiculously young they were. I mean, they left Germany, Mama was 33 and Papa was 35. And just starting out to be a big success. And they left it because it was too awful and too threatening. He did think it wouldn't last so long. First of all, they went to Denmark to be able to come back fast, and then he realized that it wasn't going to go that fast.
I had to leave Germany when Hitler took power. Then I went to Denmark, but when war seemed imminent, I had to leave for Sweden, Stockholm. Then Hitler invaded Denmark, and I had to leave Sweden, and I went to Finland, there to wait for my visa for the United States.
We went for, I think, 10 days on a train from Moscow to Vladivostok and had tickets on the Annie Johnson.
What was the Annie Johnson?
I think a Danish or a Swedish ship.
Now, Mr. Brack, when did you arrive in the United States?
I arrived in July 21st.
July the 21st, 1941?
That's right.
He seems to be a person of international importance to the communist revolutionary movement.
What do you think of the FBI spying on your family the whole time you were living in Los Angeles?
Santa Monica, not Los Angeles. 1063 26th Street. I mean, we were lucky. The Japanese were put in camps, which is not one of the prettiest chapters.
First to experience war's disruptive effects were the coast's 112,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans. Before the war was 24 hours old, Isi and Nisi were being rounded up and shipped off to internment camps to forestall possible sabotage.
How old were you when all this was happening?
Must have been around 10. I had a lot of friends in Denmark, and I had one friend in Sweden, and from then on, actually, no friends. Until I came to America, and then there were 2 girls, and they dumped me because I was a Jew and a Nazi. So my parents put me in another school, thank God.
Brack goes into exile, and he doesn't know what's going to happen to him or his family, and you could feel that in Mother Courage. You hear this scream of terror and despair. He has no idea whether he'll ever be in front of a German-speaking audience again. So he writes epic plays that will survive him and find their way back to a German-speaking audience at some point in the future. And he doesn't know whether he'll be alive to see it. And I mean, I think that he literally sets out to create a canon of texts because he's lost his audience.
Calling Calling the House Un-American Activities Committee to order, Chairman J. Parnell Thomas of New Jersey opens an inquiry into possible communist penetration of the Hollywood film industry. The committee is seeking to determine if Red Party members have reached the screen with subversive propaganda.
Question is, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
You were using the old technique which was used in Hitler Germany in order to create a scare here.
We're not willing to give up our freedoms to save our freedoms.
Now, I'll repeat the original question. Have you ever been a member of the Communist Party of any country?
Mr. Chairman, I have heard my colleagues and they considered this question not as proper, but I am a guest in this country and do not want to enter in any legal arguments, so I will answer your question fully as well I can. I was not a member or am not a member of any communist party.
Your answer is then that you have never been a member of the Communist Party.
That is correct.
Well, that's very refreshing.
You were not a member of the Communist Party for Germany?
No, I was not.
Have you seen the footage or heard the recordings of your father's testimony?
Yes, of course.
What are your impressions of those?
That old fake.
Yeah.
His English was much better than that. His grasp of English was very good.
So he's giving a performance.
Yes. If you answer badly, you can't be asked so much.
Mr. Bragg, is it true that you have written a number of very revolutionary poems, plays, and other writings?
I have written a number of poems, songs, and plays in the fight against Hitler, and of course they can be considered therefore as revolutionary, because I, of course, was for the overthrow of that government.
It's a play, really. It turns it into a play. It sounds like a comedy written by Brecht.
Mr. Bragg, have you attended any Communist Party meetings?
No, I do not think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, aren't you certain?
I'm certain, I think.
You're
yes.
certain that you've never attended?
I do not think so. No.
You're certain?
I think I'm certain.
You think you're certain?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's the theatricality of the whole thing. And as I said, Brecht was an incredibly good performer himself. I mean, actors love to incite him to demonstrate for them. And he loved to do that. I mean, he did it by way of gibberish. He never used the lines, actually, you know. He said, do it like that, you know.
Georgi hat sich endlich entschlossen, da abzureißen. Was sagen Sie? Ja, ist nicht schön.
That's all the questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brecht. And you're a good example to the witnesses of Mr. Kenny and Mr. Crump.
He was not absolutely